Hello, hello. Hey, this is chapter 14 of Revelations. We just now saw in chapter 12 that it's that the dragon, Satan himself, been thrust to the earth, and he's mad, he has anger, he is now yoked up. In chapter 13, with this beast that come up out of the sea, and then they've created a second beast, and they have formed this power, and they've created this image. They've created this image that they want the whole world to worship. And if you have to worship this image in order to buy, sell, and do anything, you have to worship this. And with this, you will get a mark. We get a mark in your right hand or in your forehead. And at this point here, that is at the final chapter, at the final verse in chapter 13, it said that the mark is, represents 666, which is 666. And so now that is here, and it's right now in this particular time of this Revelations, it's in place. It's been set. Sin came down, and remember, it's Thessalonians. I referred to that, and it's the chapter before this. This is what 14. So in chapter 12, I referred to you to look at the book of Revelations. I'm sorry, Thessalonians chapter 2, how it said, "Don't let no man deceive you." And I think Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 2, "Don't let no man deceive you that the son of perdition will be revealed first." And remember, here he is coming first before Christ actually comes. So he is seen, he is exposed, and he's known before Christ come. And that's what that's a thing that some people don't really know, that they're thinking that he's gonna be Christ gonna come in and he'll be coming. No, he said that throughout the Bible, said this mystery is going to be revealed. It will be, nothing will be hidden as time manifests. And so here we just saw that this thing has been created. Here, have the two witnesses come here and preach this gospel, try to help people, tell people, and nobody really, really, they was out there on their own, just preaching, these two witnesses, and they died, and then people gave glory. Some people did, some people they turned over to God. Thank God, it was a powerful time, because this is now the seventh trump just has sounded, and that's a big time. We've been headed to now the seven vows, which is going to be the last. I call them. They say, this is the tribulations. And then I don't know if it was me forming this, but I saw to me that the last seven plagues are like this great tribulation. This is like going to be the final tribulation. I think the whole thing great, but I always refer to the seven last plague going to be the great tribulation. So the seventh trumpet sound over in 11, after the two witnesses was raised up. And immediately, and then of course there's been this woman with this child, and then the dragon, of course, which is Satan himself, was cast out into the earth, and now he's here. He's already had the locusts to come upon the earth, and the horsemen who have war against man. So now he's here. He has created this government, this world system, this to take this mark. You have to have this mark in order to function anymore. So right here at chapter 14 of the book of Revelation, we're now finna go into where I guess it's more like a warning. It's like this we're gonna see in this chapter we'll see seven angels come out and just just do like a prelude, I guess, before the last plagues come. These plagues don't remind me of, in the days of Moses, when they had those plagues, with Pharaoh's his heart was hardened and trying to get him to go through this here. And a lot of them are very similar. So, that's a study that some people try to compare with and deal with. But anyway, the plague's going to start at 15, and in 16, we're going to see the plagues before everything starts to just kind of start exposing the whole world system. So it's shifting now. I feel like chapter 1 through 7 was more focused on the church. And then, of course, 8, 9, and 10 is we're seeing pretty much God cleaning out the earth, cleaning out. Well, I don't know. I'm guessing this here. You see, you see like a shifting and a changing, and then you're gonna see now, after this chapter 14, you're gonna see him dealing with the world, the government, and the system, dealing with trying to shift it and get it all. And pretty much, the book of Revelation is ultimately about Christ on his way back to set this earth up. And this earth, you can see this earth is just almost transforming. It's shifting right now. And two, he said the kingdom of God is now becoming the kingdom of this world. So it's like you see it's almost like just it's shifting, and it's shifting into this to God's kingdom, as we go through all this here, through it all. It's like it's like a clean house. But here over at chapter 14, after here, he says, verse 8 says here, of chapter 13, it says, "As here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, which is 666, right?" So now here in chapter 14, verse 1, we're saying here, it says, and this is John, probably this is John. Remember, John is having this, he's seeing all this here throughout this book of Revelation. And it says, and I looked, and lo, a lamb came on the Mount Sion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written on his forehead. Now, see, this is a forehead, so this is a mind. Maybe this forehead thing is not much as a stamp, but it's more like a mindset, maybe. Not trying to prophesy, not trying to project anything, but here. So he had his name written on the forehead. And then in 2, and I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And this is John said, I'm hearing something. I'm hearing a voice from heaven. Like, what is it? He said, and they sang as it were a new song. He said, before the throne and before the 4 beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song, but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. And they, this is 4, and said, these are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which followed the Lamb whatsoever he goeth. These, he said, they were redeemed from amongst men. They were redeemed from men, being the first fruit unto God and to the Lamb. He said, in their mouths were found no guile. They had nothing guile in their mouth, for they are without fault before the throne of God. So this 144 was with him. When they teach describing these people, how they were, but they was with the Lamb. That here, this Lamb, he stood on the Mount Zion, and it says here, and this is 1. Now, verse 1 for the next 3 verses. We finna see now these angels, because he said he saw these angels. So his angels coming out here. And he saw these angels flying. They finna give some warning. That right now this beast is out in the system. He's finna warn you right now. So you got 3 angels finna give us a warning. And then after those 3 angels give it, this is 7 angels finna start doing things here right now. And these 7 and the next 3 angels are going to start pulling again, start reaping the harvest. So here it says right here in 5. It said, again, 5 said, and their mouths, they were found no guile, for they was without fault before the throne of God. But here in 6 and said, and I saw another angel in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach. So John said he saw this angel with the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation, kindred, and tongue, and people. And he said, this is what the angel was saying, like look. He's trying to still help. There's still help. You got this system, this world system here. Don't take that mark. He's pretty much saying here in 7, it says, is saying with a loud voice, fear God and give glory to him. For the 4 of his judgment. For the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the seas and the fountain of waters. So he says here the hour. He says, so here the hour is come. I got stuff written on my Bible. He says, but here. He said, fear God, and give glory to him. He said, for the hour is come for judgment, okay? He says, so worship the creator of the heavens and the earth, okay? And the sea and the fountains. Don't sit here and be worshiping this stuff that's out there that you're seeing going on. And then here in verse 8, and it said, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she has made all nations drink the wine of the wrath of her fornication. So it says here, he's like, the angel said, look, they're coming down. So don't get caught up in that stuff. Don't be taking that mark and trying to get over there and get into that city, because it's fallen. Babylon is coming down. And then at 9, verse 9, it said, then a third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice. This is what the 4th angel. This is what the 3rd angel said here. It said, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixtures of the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and with brimstones in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So if you touch that, if you go over there and taking that and worshiping and getting that, taking that stuff they got, he said, here, you're going to be drinking. He said, you're going to hear, he said, you're going to be drinking the wine of the wrath of God. You getting God's wrath. You have to realize these people blaspheming God. They start here blaspheming God, and you can't just minimize that. Say, "Oh, well, it's okay. He's his heart or whatever." It's, you just cannot have exceptions to his rules. So he said, "Do not." They telling, they warn, do not be a part of it. And so here it says, so you will. He said, you will. He said, if you do, so he that do you will be tormented with fire, with brimstones, and in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb. And that's in verse 10. And then in 11 it says here, and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receive the mark in his name. So whoever get that, that's your destiny right there. He said, because it's not, so that's why you have to realize this is a little more than just a stamp. This is more like you surrendering, you giving up, you giving up your soul. I pretty much literally just gave up your soul. You've compromised so much of who you are until you is no return. So you just have to just make sure, but this is the beautiful thing here. He says here in 12, he said here, just don't endure, don't do that. Remember, he said this earlier about the faith and the patience. And here in verse 12, in chapter 14, verse 12, here is the patience of the saints. He said, here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. So for anybody at that point that is dying in the Lord, you got God stamping your forehead. You surrender. You're still holding on to God. For the person that died in God through this right now, this henceforth on, he says over here, he continues to say, ye said the spirit that you may have. I'm sorry, let me just start over here. It said, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Ye said the spirit that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. So you're going to rest. He said, if you get through this and you go ahead and you hanging on to what he's telling you, you're going to rest from your labor, from this endurance, this patience. You're going to rest, and your works are going to follow you. And then he said, and I looked, and behold, this is John, remember John raising. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud. Is that 14? This is 14:14. I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. So now he have warned. You have the angels here warning about this mark. Hey, just endure. Try not to get into this. And now here you have this angel coming. You have this angel coming out here with this sickle. So now these angels here have sickles. You have 3 angels come here to warn. Hey, hang on here. The city going down. Don't. It's not worth it. Don't sit there and try to buy and sell with them. Just that's a done deal already. It's all before you even get started. It's a done deal. And he just telling you, for anybody that to endure through this here, blessed is you. Your work is you're gonna have labor. You're gonna have stuff following. Your work's gonna have rewards. Gonna follow you for your labor. And then here is he said, yeah, it is. It says here, the Son of Man having a golden crown. And so 15, another came out. So here at 15, and another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud. So he was in the cloud. He said, him sat on this cloud. He came out with his loud voice. He said, thrust in the sickle. He said, and reap, for the time is come to reap the time is come for thee to reap. It said, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. So he's saying right now, it's ready. You remember they said, angels said, how long, Lord? How long was going to take in all this here? So he said, thrust in the sickle. He said, go ahead and put it in there. It's time. He said, the harvest is ripe. It's time to go ahead and get this done. This is what the angel said. It's ready. We got it right here. Remember God said too, I told you Matthew, he said he's going to shorten the days for this trial here. It's going to be shortened. So the angels coming, hey, it's time. Let's just go ahead and get this thing done. So 16, and it says here, and he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And in 18 it said, another angel came out from the altar which had power over the fire. And he cried with a loud voice to him that sat up, he cried with a loud voice to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in the sickle and gather the clusters of the vines of the earth. He says, for her grapes are fully ripe. So he's right now thrusting the sickle to grab the grapes that are ripe and ready. These are grapes that are ripe and ready. He said, thrust in and get them when they're ready. So let's get them. And then here in 9, in verse 9, it's saying, the angel thrust in the sickle into the earth and gathered the vine of the earth and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. So this angel here gathered the sickles of the earth, and this here went into the wrath. This went into the wrath of God. And then here in 20, and the winepress was trodden upon the city, and the blood that came out of this winepress, even unto the horse's bridle, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. And I think that was referred to almost 150 to 200 miles of this wine press, this pressing this stuff, this sickle, putting it in the wine press, and the blood and just splattering this all over the place because he's cleaning. He's just taking care of this. This is a done deal. So here at this point, he has sat here and pulled in the grapes. And this is something that for me, Revelation is a great book. This is something I have to sit here. And this is an area I have to study more of, because the insight I have here is not complete. Because when I talk about the wine press and reaping in the harvest and putting it in for the wrath, some people get in the wrath and where exactly. So I would need a lot more study on this here, but when I read through it here, because what I keep saying to me, I have to really dig deep about this wine press and this sickle and understand exactly how all that works. Because I know Christ, he's coming in here, he's cleaning up. But so pretty much this is for like gathering his people. Gathered, and I have to get more understanding of this here. But that is the end of chapter 14. Pretty much we saw here that, that there was a lamb that stood on Mount Zion with the 144,000. They saw here and they had a song. They prepared, they warned it. Then they had 3 angels to come out here and warn you not to take that mark. And then you have angels come out and say, hey, look, this harvest is ready. It's time to go ahead and put this, to get the sickle in. So at this point, after this wine press, we finna go into now. They finna eventually start get into the last 7 plagues. We're gonna be in chapter 15. So this one's just a short chapter. I'm gonna probably go ahead and finish chapter 15 tonight. But then go into these, we get into the last plagues, and then the 7 vials, and then after the 777. And that's what it's all based on here. The 7, we had the 7 seals, we had the 7 trumps. And they said, some about 3 Corinthians said Christ come show up on the 7th trump and with the shout. And this is what's going on. All this is still part of the 7th trump. And now we're going to go into the vows. So all this, a lot had happened at the 7th trump. And that's what is be worth studying and know exactly. And when I read this, I don't think about where we live at today and what's, where we at. I'll leave it up to you to judge. Some people say, we're in it. Some people say, just so much, and there's so much insight. I don't try to do a prophecy. I try to read it and just study and watch and just be ready, and just to see what he told me. And he told me, I know it's for me. It's not about me trying to, tell you this is what you should do and everything. I don't try to get into the prophetic side of this here, but just reading it, knowing exactly what's going on, and then let the Holy Spirit and God and teach and show you where to go and what you to do with it. It's powerful because it's pretty amazing. Like right now, the redeemed have come back with the lamb, and they help cleaning it up. They're getting stuff ready. The harvest is great. This is what they were at the altar asking for at that fifth seal at the beginning. So it's like it's wrapping up. Pretty much wrapping up the stuff dealing with the man. This is about us, with the man and dealing with us. This is just like the man's, and this is going to end. The 7 plagues will be more like us, sealing the deal with man. So that is 14 here. I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to pick back up. I was trying to get my pictures and show. I said I would come back and show you the 70 weeks thing, but I'm going to let you go to the Daniel 70 weeks. And then I was trying to pick a picture up, but this is like something here that I have. It's the great tribulation, Daniel 70 weeks fast, 7 years. But you can pull this up on the internet. And there's also another one about the animals, the bulls and stuff. I mean, it's a picture of Daniel with I have to think about what you call it, because I paused a little bit. I was trying to go pull it out, and I had to go and dig and find my section on that particular study that I did, and I didn't have it with me. I wasn't ready for that to show, but I want to show you a picture. But you just Google Daniel, and this here was prophesied in the book of Daniel. I think Daniel 2 and 3 talks about the animals, and then throughout Daniel's he has a prophecy about end times. So just studying Daniel, and you can get more insights about the 70 weeks, his projection of the end times, Revelations, and then of course he have a referral to the kingdoms. These kingdoms, the seven, the kingdoms with the horns and the powers and stuff. He talked about those are nations, and that's what people refer to that. They study Revelation. So I'm gonna try to get that for sure and bring it. If I'm gonna try to pull it out. I had to figure out where I have some stuff stacked all over the place, but I had to pull up my notes for that. I have some pictures and charts of that I can kind of break it down and show you, because I haven't studied Revelation it's probably for over 10 years, and it was interesting how I had to pull it out and start talking about it. Well, not study over 10 years, but let me see, the last study, it's been maybe a good 5 years, because I've been here 5 years. So it's been a good 5 years I haven't pulled out. So I did bring my notes when I moved, and I have them just packed up. I have to pull them out and try to find out, because I want to give it more insight about the world, the kingdoms. There's 8 kingdoms, and I think we're coming up to the final, the last 2 kingdoms, which would be the millennium, and then of course get it. I know you understand what I'm talking about. But some people do that, that have deep studies and talk about the different beasts with the eagles and the crowns and the leopards and the bears and all that. So that has a lot of symbolism about the kingdoms and how the beast is coming about this world system of nations. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm rumbling, but I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna hit the end button, and I'm going to get into chapter 15. And like I said, that was a pretty deep one. This is probably one of the things I don't really, I'm not so, I guess I need to work with the sickle to get more in depth with that. But that's pretty much how this Christ is showing this thing and bringing this thing down. And I say Christ, but it's really talking about the lamb. So I need to stick with the word, the lamb, and not as much as Christ. But they talk about the lamb, and that's how the lamb come here. So y'all be blessed, take care, and God bless you. Okay, and remember, get a Bible, get into it and read it, and hopefully it bless you. And I hope this was some insight. It was very insightful. Take care.